Hello everyone and welcome back to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot, and I am in dark territory today. Fair warning, somewhat distasteful territory as well. If you find dark subject matter, particularly around death, triggering, please don't watch. Please do something life affirming and joyful. I have the Santa Muerte Tarot on the tarot deck today, tarot table. Let's try that again. I'm a bit tongue-tied because it's cold, mostly very, very cold. And it's rather a macabre tarot deck, but appropriate for the subject matter of today's readings and inspired by that interview that Harry gave for the ITV documentary Tabloids on Trial, and his claim that some rash person might attack Meghan, inspired or spurred on by tabloid stories, hate-filled tabloid stories, the knife attack, the acid attack. We all know that story. We've all heard it. We've all looked at it a million times. But there's been a bit of a spin on it, and it's come from Bark Jack, Teresa Longo fans, as their Twitter account is known. They are PR people from Italy, retired, claim to have inside info. I personally feel that they might once have. I'm not sure that they have any more. So that's my first disclaimer. But what they say is that Meghan has convinced Harry that his own family want her dead. This is quoting from them. A rock-solid source said she has Harry believing the firm hurt Mum and will hurt her too. So their spin on the story that Harry presented in that ITV documentary is that it's not really about random attacks from crazy members of the public. Harry's real concern is that Meghan is at risk from the royal family, and that the royal family, of course, was implicated in his mother's death. Now, make it very clear right now that I am not reading on whether the royal family had anything to do with Princess Diana's death. I'm not going there in this reading. I'm simply looking at the energy around this rumor. I want to know if this is what Harry himself believes, and whether this is an idea or a notion that Meghan has encouraged. So we're going to look at the energy around what Harry believes about his mother's very tragic death, and what Meghan might be encouraging him to believe, or herself might believe. And then we're going to look at his fears around Meghan and the royal family, and what she might be encouraging them to believe. And our last question today on this reading will be, is she at risk of some sort of violent, untimely demise? I'm trying to phrase it as delicately as I can. And if so, where would that come from? I'm not implicating the royals. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not joining the conspiracies about all of that. I'm simply looking at Harry's, what might be described as paranoia that might be being fueled, according to the story from this Twitter source, by his wife. And I need to make very clear right now that we're in the realm of tarot, and we're just doing this for fun and entertainment, and we are expressing I am expressing my opinion here and speculating quite wildly, given the nature of this story that has been put out. And I'm just reading energy, archetypal energy, because a royal family is the archetypal family. And there is a disclaimer in the box below, and please read it, and please do your own research, and please come to your own conclusions. And please note that I am not inciting violence. I'm not encouraging conspiracy theories. I simply want to know the energy around the story. What does Harry believe about what happened to his mother? What does Harry fear might happen to Meghan at the hands of his family? And that's really a mental health concern, in my opinion. And Meghan, is she at risk? Is she is there a likelihood, a possibility that something untoward could happen to her? So that's what we're heading for today. As I said, it's distasteful. I'm well aware of it. And Apologies to those of you who find it distasteful, but it called me to come to this energy. When I saw this story out there, I thought, is that what's really going on with Harry? Is that what's really the problem? That this is what he genuinely believes, genuinely fears, suspects. If this is what he thinks of his family, then really there is no hope, there is no way back. Although, you know, I'm pretty much been there anyway, in the sense of no hope and no way back. We got the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is in reverse as our underlying energy. That's the card of being stuck in woe when it's in reverse, of just unable to shake off pain from the past and let it go and move on. And it very aptly sums up this notion that Harry is fixated on what happened to his mother and might have some rather distorted views about it that he's unable to let go of. And I often get that energy when I read on Harry and his mother shows up. She shows up very often in readings that I do on him. And so there is that fixation on grief from the past, unresolved grief from the past. Ace of Cups in reverse, that might or might not be being fueled, encouraged, exploited, allegedly. We'll throw out some allegedlys and let's see the situation we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the Star in reverse, and that is despair, desolation, loss of hope, loss of faith when it's in the reverse. Illness as well. It's the card of healing when it's upright. So I'm getting illness. I get some sense of a disorder in this Eight of Cups in reverse as well. Inability to move on despite all the therapy, despite all the counseling. That obsessive quality of that Eight of Cups for me in reverse. Possibly digging down deep into dark web kind of stuff, watching nasty conspiratorial videos, seeing things that might be very disturbing, hearing things that might be very disturbing, unable to put good boundaries around all of this kind of stuff. It's real for me energetically, and I am just reading energy here, as I say endlessly. I feel like a vortex of woe that he's being pulled into, especially with that Star in reverse. It's a card of absolute despair and loss of purpose and loss of faith. So loss of faith in the divine, which might also be a problem. I see when I read on Prince William, I get the opposite. I get that Prince William's life path has encouraged him to become a man of faith as he's grown older, whereas Harry, I see a loss of faith here and a loss of trust as well, and that would be in his family. If this rumor, this story, is at all true, and we're testing the energy of it here. That's why we're doing this reading. So I'm going to look at the Princess Diana aspect of it. What does Harry believe about his mother's death and the royal family? What does he believe? And it's the Six of Pentacles. It is the Six. I've got to check these cards because the Sixes and the Nines always look, yeah, it's 6 o'clock, so that's a bit obvious on the card. It's a quid pro quo. Something about it. So if there's a conspiracy around this, it would be you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That there was some sort of mutual benefit in this, that he suspects that it might have been in their interests to get rid of her. And I'm speculating wildly. I'm just testing the energy and reading what this card says to me energetically. There might be, well, it's to our advantage to get rid of her, it's to your advantage to get rid of her, and so there we go. It's that kind of notion of, if there's complicity, it's because there is mutual benefit to the various parties who might have been involved in it. More than that, I don't want to say. It's not terrible. I have to say that. It's not terrible energy. This is terrible energy right here. So it doesn't necessarily need to be terrible to carry a terrible weight in this reading. Let's see what Megan might be encouraging him to believe. And this is all pure speculation and allegedly. What might she be saying? This is a Knight of Swords in reverse. Now there is danger. There is a rash act. There is a savage attack. The Knight of Swords is swift action. It's air sign energy, and of course the air sign culprit that was always the target of these kind of conspiracy theories would be, of course, the Gemini in the family. That would be, and I'm not accusing, I'm just merely saying what people have claimed or alleged or speculated would be Prince Philip, and he's in reverse. So there is the toxic version of events. In this card, Knight of Swords, air sign man, in reverse, prince. A knight is a prince. In reverse, and swords in reverse are dangerous, cruel. This is a swift action by someone who's got military experience and stuff like that. So there is that. This is not nearly so conspiratorial, Harry's energy. This is where the real danger lies, shall we just say. And I am, of course, having to pick my words very carefully and throw a million allegedlys all over this and my opinion. So let's move to Meghan and what Harry fears for Meghan coming from his family. What does he think about his family and Meghan? And we have the Ten of Wands, and that is a terrible burden, the heavy burden card, being oppressed, weighed down. So the sense of her being subject to endless negative press, negative PR, burdened by it. It's not necessarily a card of someone who's in danger, actively in danger. It's more the energy of someone, and it's interesting we have Windsor Castle in the background. It's more somebody who's being oppressed, who's being weighed down by negativity, and that is burdensome for her. So I think that it's more a case of him feeling that they are putting pressure on her, wanting her to crack. I don't think that he feels that they would be out to actively sabotage. I mean, it's not what's coming through for me. It's more psychological pressure. It's more, let's put out negative articles through the media, because of course in Harry's mind the media is complicit with the royal family. They have the sinister agreement not to protect Harry and Meghan and to allow all these awful stories out, such untrue stories, and Prince William fueling the flames of these stories which have become a terrible burden for her. That's how I'm reading this. Let's see what she's saying, or what she thinks, what she's encouraging him to believe. And we've got the Judgment card, and that's a very interesting card. It's the Last Judgment. It's the trumpet sounding. It's a very funereal energy in this card. The Last Judgment. She believes that she is at risk, or she is telling him that she is at risk because of this funeral scenario in here, of them all gathered around that coffin. And it's a macabre tarot deck. If you're sensitive and squeamish, then you know it's not the tarot deck for you. But that's what she's saying. And the meaning of the Judgment card, it's manifold meanings, but one of them is coming around again. And so what happened previously to Mummy is coming around to me. And I don't know, I can't tell whether this is her own paranoia, whether she truly believes this, or whether this is something she's telling him to fire him up and get him motivated to get more security or whatever, or to control him or influence him. I don't know, I can't tell. That energy isn't coming through for me. But that is a serious card. The Judgment card is major arcana. It's very much happened once, it could happen again to me, and we have a very vivid visual of what she imagines or she believes is her likely fate. So again, apologies, it is distasteful. We are in dark territory here, but it might be quite important to unpick this and to know what's really going on and who really believes what and what's really behind all of these court cases and these accusations and this insistence on security. So we're looking at Megan now, future. Is she at risk from anyone of some sort of violent act or accident, anything dangerous in her future? Is that energy there? And I've got the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is literally in reverse, and it is yeah, it's possible. She's the Queen of Wands. She is the Queen of Wands. It is in reverse. Very volatile energy. Wands, when they're in reverse, are volatile. They are angry. They are dramatic. It could be that she herself sets up a scenario, and we have seen an alleged scenario along those lines in New York with a near catastrophic car chase, where she didn't look at all alarmed. She had a bit of a smirk on her face while the car chase was allegedly ongoing. Harry was filming it. Harry obviously believed terrible things were happening. Doria was blissfully unaware, oblivious on her phone, doing whatever she was doing on her phone, sending whatever messages possibly on her phone. Who knows? Speculation, allegedly. It could be herself who sets this up, or in fact endangers herself somehow by putting herself in harm's way, because it is her own energy. It's a card that has significant energy in it for me as a tarot reader of Megan herself. It has really become her card, one of her cards in the tarot for me as a reader. So there is definite possibility there, and I'm seeing that it could be her own self-endangerment or a staged scenario. Either way, I'm speculating, of course. And so the final card here is who would be the most likely source of attack or accident, and I have already answered it partially in that card, or the universe has answered it partially for me. But what's the answer here? We've got the Two of Cups. Wow, that's a close partner. That's not a random stranger, someone known. And Lady C often talks about that ballet, and I cannot for the life of me remember what that ballet is called, with again a rather unsavory subject matter of a couple who end in a very dark way, mutually inflicted darkness. I'm choosing my words very carefully. I'm sure someone in the comments will remind us of what that ballet is called. Just gone blank. That is what the universe is telling me in these cards, and it's rather chilling. And I don't like seeing this energy. I'm not a fan of the couple because of their behavior towards their own families and to other people around them. But nobody wants to see this kind of energy in a tarot reading. So we're going to leave it there. And thank you for watching. And I will see you again soon.